right, so now let's go back to the main stage and let's start the very first session. So now we're going to listen to the career advice from the first expert.
Yes, and in recent times, a lot of companies are jumping into robotics. And they were not interested in robotics before, but now they can see how robots can enhance their productivity or their own management of the business. The problem is that they don't have any knowledge in robotics, so they need the help of an expert. This is where the consultant person in robotics takes place. And what does it mean to be a robotics consultant? Do you need to know hardware and software? What kind of academic background is required? And how do you get projects monetized? And all these questions are going to be answered in the next presentation that is hitting the stage with Denis Stogl. Denis is the CEO and director of Stogl Robotics, a consultancy robotics company based on ROS solutions. Let me welcome Denis Stogl. Hi, Denis, are you there? Hello. What is the situation? We see here. Okay, so we cannot see your face, so we can see here now another person's names, actually. But can you hear me, Denis?
Yes, I can hear you.
Oh, excellent. So in the meantime that they are putting the, oh, now we can see you. Excellent. There he goes. There is Denis. So how you doing, Denis?
I'm doing great, thank you. How are you?
Fine here with a lot of issues during the conference, but we are solving one by one, and I think that we are ready for this awesome talk with you. And the first thing that I would like to talk is what is Stogl Robotics about?
So the Stogl Robotics is an engineering company for enhanced automation and boost robotic application, how I like to call it. We provide consulting and engineering services to our clients to create completely new robotics applications or improve existing ones. Why I like to tell it's enhanced automation and boost robotics, because we are always like to go step more than the classical automation or state of the industries, since we are coming from the ROS background, and ROS is one important component that we use in our daily business.
Then we can classify your business as a consultancy business, right?
Yes, exactly.
And can you express better to the audience, so for the newcomers, what is a consultancy business?
Yeah, consultancy means that you develop applications and solutions for your clients, basically not your own. Of course, you bring your own idea, but you are developing for other people.
Mm-hmm. And in this case, it's applied to robotics projects.
Exactly,
right?
exactly.
And who are your clients? So can the audience hire you?
Yeah, so our clients are individuals to multinational corporations. Everybody basically who needs help to make robotic solution for 21st century. What I mean by that, it's basically that it's novel, they are open to ROS2, and they need certain amount of complexity. So basically what we are not doing, it's simple pick and place application that you can do with industrial robot. I would even say easier than with ROS. So that's not our place, but our place is more, let's go advance, a lot of sensors, data, robots, and so on.
And autonomy.
Exactly.
Autonomy, yeah. Okay, can you tell us about any interesting project that is not secret and you are working right now, so for the audience to have an idea of what to expect of this?
So the current projects, the past project or some part of past project, you can see also on our website, where we also write a bit more what we were doing there. But actually from the current project, I cannot give you exact the project, but I can give you the areas. And that's actually, I think, the most interesting part, because they are mostly from the areas where you would never think of that there is robotics or something like that. And when I tell you the area for the audience, it's definitely not what you think, because it's not so easy solution, but many things will be public in the next few months. So then you can stay tuned. Yeah.
Okay,
But
what?
for example, we
So-
have currently project in the tunnel construction, underground mining area, automation there. Then new applications in car repair shops. That's very cool. Car repair shops automation. It's a big thing that's coming.
Wow.
Then the robotics in construction. Then robotics automation in outdoor logistics, but it's not so, actually there is few complexities there, and we are working on one very little problem, but it's very cool problem, I have to say. This will come in September. You can stay tuned. And also what we are working on, it's our own product, which basically came out from our consultancy. This is the control box based on ROS. The idea is that we can just plug any industrial robot or a machine and have ROS interface to it. So also our clients can better and easier developed using these things.
Excellent. Impressive. So you gave a full list of possible places where robots are applied, and also where consultancy business has a place also in your case. And but then that's an idea for the audience there, that they don't know what to do or the next step. So that's the purpose of this conference. So you can see, the audience, you can see some places where you can apply your knowledge of robotics or create one consultancy business. But there are many more, plenty. So what inspired you to start a robotics consultancy business, Denis?
Inspiration is I think it was just motivation, because I was looking around after or being close to finishing my PhD. During my PhD, I actually mentioned, somehow I like to work alone. Alone. I like to work on self-defined problems. And consultancy is also part of it. I mean, I find cool in consultancy, you get a problem for other person, but they are expert in their field. They have no idea about robotics oftentimes.
Exactly.
And then you have to figure out how to get this solution to the robot. And that's what I really love. And I was thinking, okay, where I can work on ROS full time. Except the research, I'm more engineer type of person, want to go more into industry, want to really contribute to industry as much with ROS as ROS was contributing to research community, to improving a lot of stuff. And when you see then where the industry stands, and that's how it was like kind of natural thing to do that.
Yes, excellent. So that's for a typical a path that people that want to be working on their own projects can take. Because as you express is that there is a problem, but the way that you solve the problem is up to you. So you define your terms, because the client cannot. They can just give you the restrictions on the
Exactly.
right. Okay, great. And then can you explain us a little bit? So you said also that you were finishing your PhD and you wanted to then work, but in some way that you are not hired for a job, and then you have your boss and so on. So what were the first steps that you took in order to get the business off the ground? Because this is not easy. I mean, you start from zero, right?
Yes, there is a long story. I'm not sure if I would do it again, to be honest. I mean, I'm very happy where I am. It's just
yes.
But the thing is, I mean, you really start from zero, and I was very lucky back then that I did one quite important decision. Now it was small but important decision that I decided in April 2020 to join ROS 2 control development a lot. And basically becoming there more and more involved and becoming maintainer brought to me also first client. So one of my first client was Picnic. They needed people knowing control. They are known for their Move-It framework and so on, but they also needed control experts. And basically ROS 2 Control brought me this first job, and actually a lot of many other clients. They saw us on the open source, how we are active. And basically come to us when they need some help.
That's interesting that you mentioned this, because this is one of the things that we want to propose actually in this conference. around the end of the conference, we have a workshop for teaching how to create your portfolio. Because in the portfolio, you can showcase your work. And that kind of resonates with what you are saying, because your clients can see your open source things that you have done in robotics, and then they can evaluate, they can understand that you really know your craft, and then
Exactly.
hire you. It's interesting. Very, very interesting. And then can you tell us about any early challenge that you faced and how you did overcome it? Just one example so that people can understand what to expect from starting their own consultancy business.
Yeah, I mean, basically, I started kind of as a freelancer. Nevertheless, for me, was always the company in mind, to building up the company. So that was also my standing I was taking. So I was also lucky that the clients were open, that I worked for them only part-time, because usually they want to also have people working for them full-time. So this might be, this is one of the things, basically, that you lose some jobs because you say, okay, I will not work for anybody full time because I'm trying to, build something up, make it independent. And it's also then a big thing, which we are, I have to say, still struggling, but I think this is just consulting business. You either have too many people or either you have too much to do. So there is fine to hard balance between number of projects, number of people in the company, and so on. But I think this is just consulting life, to be honest.
Okay, and do you have a niche? Well, you defined a niche at the beginning of your presentation, and how did you identify your niche within the robotics industry or landscape?
Yeah, for me, it happened quite naturally. I mean, I'm automation engineer. I was always very I really love automation, control, and so on. Then I started to be involved into ROS2 control, and to be honest, everything else comes like together to it. So the first niche was really hardcore ROS2 control things, and now we are slowly extending where we are building, full applications, smaller applications for the clients, and so on. Of course, you have to also connect with other libraries, navigation, move it, and so on, always. But this is not our core. Our core is really control. And then everything else, it's building applications. And yeah, I mean, currently we are also a bit of pushing, at least locally here in Germany, a lot into industry, so that we really bring ROS into industry.
No.
Even if the clients don't know it, they got from us cells with running on ROS with robots. So that's what I find cool, because I see there a lot of potential for improvement. Do classical industry, but with ROS. That's cool.
Yes, but that's amazing, because that industry is actually a little bit reticent to accept ROS. They want to keep on their old solutions based on industrial robots, and they know that it works. They have the whole environment ecosystem around it, and then how do you manage this? How do you achieve this?
I mean, there is actually multitudes of problems why this happens in the industry. The first one is actually you have to, when you go deep into industry, there is no much engineers. So everybody who is having engineering degree here or something like that, you are very, very rare in the world. I can tell you that. I mean, we are all surrounded with engineers probably every day, but we are very rarely in the world. And you have then technicians who know very well usually one robotic program, one robotic language, and that's why they build it like that. And for many applications, you are happy just to say robot go there, close the gripper, go to the other position, and so on.
And that's
but
it.
now as applications get more and more complex, as they need more sensors and so on, you see how this way of programming robots comes to a limit.
Yeah.
And especially you are having less and less people. You need more and more applications, and having less and less educated people who can do that. Especially the PLC business and robotic businesses, we are also connected a lot with automation. People are, the average age of people are 50 plus. So we know that those developers will basically naturally die out. How hard this sounding, but it is like that. And there is where I see ROS that can actually boost the whole industry, because it can help you with reusability of components, not build constantly
Yeah.
things from scratch which take weeks and months. That's
Okay, so what you are saying is are very good news for the audience because they are in this field, and then so they are most of them they are very interested in ROS. So that those are good news for all the audience. So understand that there is a lot of work for
yes,
robotics
there is
developers
a
there.
lot of work. But it's also important what I would like to tell them if they're interested in this such a what we are doing, low level robotics integration, going towards industry, having knowledge of classical programming of robots, having knowledge also of PLCs and so on. It's also important because you can then understand you often have to upgrade applications of the clients. You don't want to destroy everything what they have.
Yeah,
Because some industries we are talking, hard money, every second
of
counts,
course.
especially in production, and this is what you also have to take into consideration. But ROS I see as a huge booster of complex, especially complex applications.
Okay, yeah, so ROS will be one of the main parts that you need to know as a skill, but there are others that
Definitely.
you won't mention.
Yeah.
Okay, excellent. And then can I ask you, well, actually you think something else. So what services does your consultancy provide? So a consultancy service company, what does it does is to manage a project from 0 to 1, is to send engineers to the office or to the industry that you want to apply. Which kind of services are you providing?
Actually, both of those, what you're mentioning, but I usually put them on the scale like from consulting. We organize workshops with clients that are often very startups come to us, ask us, okay, I want to build this and that. What should I do? Which libraries in ROS should I use? What is proven, what's not? That's, for example, how to build your stack, because you always end up building your robotics stack, your software stack. Then the providing engineers for develop particular features or basically build from 0 to 1 or from 0 to version some version the small robotic cell with everything what is needed, hardware, software, connecting, thinking about all the parts required for that and so on.
So you mentioned several interesting things. The first one is that you are combining hardware and software in your project. So you are doing both things.
Exactly.
Is that right? Okay. So do you think that there is more importance in one of them, or what would you recommend to the audience that is listening here? Should they concentrate in one thing, the other, or have a pair of learning and understanding of both at the same time?
I mean, it depends what you want to do at the end. For example,
As a
not for
professional,
all,
you mean?
yeah, I mean,
In,
not for our people in our company is important that they understand everything. But generally, for example, for me personally, I love hardware and I love this combination of hardware and software. That's why I love robotics. I need to have, real world touch from my software. And that's why also I have a big affinity to hardware to understand the whole hardware things. Yeah, so you can decide. I find it still, even if you want to be pure software engineer in robotics, some sense of hardware you need to have
yeah,
because robotics is always real world limitations.
exactly.
You are not developing website where you have all your own little world. You are the god and you can do everything. We have physics and physics tell you what you can do and what not in robotics.
That's excellent definition. Excellent. You described so well. Very good. Excellent. And then what about the qualities that you look for people when hiring team members?
So for me, it's actually very important open source portfolio. What you were mentioning, I basically looked at. I don't look much, or we don't look much in the CV. For also nowadays is for us quite important to have already some connection, if possible, to the people through open source or whatever, or some good recommendation. So I would definitely here recommend people not only to build your robotics portfolio. For me, robotics portfolio doesn't mean that you build some small demo of some robot or whatever. This is less important. What I find much more interesting and more important, and it's way harder, is basically that you go and contribute some of the core libraries. You can build your own little demos, but if you love navigation, dive into navigation too and go deep to know every single part of it. I mean, not every, but you can say, okay, I'm very, very good at global planners or something like that, because those stakes are actually where ROS profit. It's not that you say, yeah, I have here, and it's different way of learning. When you go into existing project, you then learn also build up bigger projects because you see the structure of the bigger projects, the complexity and so on.
Yeah, and also you learn how to collaborate into a project, which is something very
Exactly.
difficult because, as you mentioned, you are not your own god in your web interface there. You need to push some other code that cannot affect the other people, and then so you have to collaborate in order to have a functionality working where your piece is one of the parts only and don't break the system. Okay.
Exactly, and doesn't matter where you work, where you will work later, or do you want to do robotic consultancy, you want to work within a development team, you want to,
Yeah.
I don't know, be application engineer using
Yes.
ROS, you will end up using those tools. And
Okay.
those tools are important, and that's why I find it's extremely important really to try to contribute to existing project. Doesn't matter how little the contribution is. For me, is more value than just say, yeah, I can put together a few launch files and few YAML files. That's fine. That's also a plus. But it's contribute little bug fix to one
Yes.
existing library. It gives you, okay, I dive into a problem and I can solve certain problem.
Excellent advice. And audience, Dennis, what Dennis is saying is gold pieces. Okay, you are struggling to get a job, then he's giving you the roadmap for being hired. Okay, so he's talking now about being hired in a robotics company, for example, in his company. But this applies also to other companies, types of companies that are not consultancy, but they are developing products and so on. So let me see here. So then you mentioned about the CV also, that not that much. And what about the university titles? What do you think about that? Is that that important in order to get a job in robotics?
Yes and no. I mean, it depends. It depends. I would say I can tell from my perspective and from the company what I see. It's more important what you do and what your track record is. And now it's so easy to build up track record. Of course, you have to do a lot on your free time. I know I've been there with Trust to Control. But this is way more important because showing that you can actually understand complex systems and robots are, because they are complex, and that you can work with such software and so on. It's way more important, I would say, than have academic title, because academic title basically means at the end you were focusing on one very narrow topic for a certain amount of years, and this can help you for certain positions. For example, if you really want to go into R&D departments of big corporations, then yes, okay, this is important because, I don't know, you will work on grasping with a robot and you will be expert in grasping, but then you will usually during this academic pathway, you lose the whole stack, for example, overview.
No, I see.
Which is sometimes quite important, especially if you go into smaller companies, robotic consultancy and so on. It's more important to understand broader things than
And how they interact.
really extremely great in one thing. Yeah, but T engineer is always the best thing. Yeah,
Which one, sorry?
the T engineer, like now letter T, like you have overview of everything, but you're very good in one field.
Oh, nice.
It's always the
analogy.
secret.
Okay.
Yeah, the secret sauce.
Excellent. So cool. What I saw is that there are many job requirements that they are asking for a university degree, and in my opinion, that is being used. I mean, it could be useful if you have it for as a matter of not getting rejected from the initial application for that job, because
Yeah.
some of them, some companies, probably the big companies, they say, oh, we need a robotics engineer, and then we need it to have a degree in computer science or in robotics or whatever. And then if you don't have it, I mean, you are discarded off the shelf directly. So having it is just for passing this, but then after that, you need to demonstrate the real thing, which is this portfolio.
Exactly. I mean, what I would say here, it's, I mean, university degree for robotics, it's important. But I would say it's less important if it's bachelor, master, or PhD. Or, I mean, I think master is a standard, but also people with bachelor, because the thing is, robotics is a lot of physics and math in the background. It's not that you are using everything every day, that you are doing matrices calculations, but to understand your problems, you have to have this toolbox in your head, that you can see, okay, this is what is happening in my problem. That's why I think they are asking for it, just to have this sharpness a bit in math and physics.
That's awesome. Sorry, I think it's awesome how you explain it. Because
thanks.
really, because really, I was listening to you and I think, wow, I have to use this for me to explain, because the people think, oh, but you need to know a lot of math and so on, and then I don't remember how to do the matrix determinant, make the identity matrix and whatever. I don't remember, but I remember the concept in my head that you are saying, and then I understand what is happening, because it's actually happening there. But if I have to do it manually, I need to go to the book and check it. But that's not the important thing. The important thing is that you have it, the meaning of those of those operations. What are they doing in the real life, and why you should apply this one or the other one, and that's having this material into your head directly to understand what is happening in the reality.
Yeah, I mean, understanding is much more important than having, I mean, don't tell anyone. I hope this is not recording. But if you give me now to calculate some transformations by my hand, I'm not sure I would manage it. That's why I use TF. But I understand TF very well, and know exactly what is happening inside.
Yes.
So that's important thing.
Exactly. Excellent. Very good. Let me see more questions here. So in your company, you are several people, right?
Yes.
Then how do you ensure an effective teamwork and collaboration dynamics in your team? Because what I mean is that, do you hire the same type of people with the same skills, and then you put them to work together, or you are more in the sense of some specialist, even if they have, you mentioned that you need to have a broad, but then you are a specialist into one. Is more your team in this way, working in this way?
We have actually a mix. We have a mix. We have people who are very good in like what I call integration, where you need to take many libraries and put them together. But also a few people who have also PhDs and are very, very good in their domain. So it's mixed. And even some of those people are not maybe so good with ROS, but they are very, very good in algorithms, in control algorithms, trajectory generation algorithms, and so on, everything what is important for us. So it's more, I would not say that we are specifically, filtering out, like say now, okay, we need extremely big skill, because if there is a fit, if there is, for me, is also quite important, if there is personal fit, if there is a good vibe, then we know that we can work with that person. And because this is important, you spend a lot of time together. Our people spend also a lot of time with clients, and it's important that they can also go well with people, because sometimes you have clients who think they know a lot of in robotics, but they don't know so much in robotics, and they try to explain you what to do something, and then you have to know how to tell them that that the things should be done differently, that they would like to have it.
So can I say that is what you are defining is a type of culture, and then your new hirings has to fit into this culture or something, so they have to be more or less in the same culture.
I would say this is a similar thing.
Oh, okay. Okay.
That would be
Great.
similarity.
So, well, that's an important point in case that you want to build your consultancy business, is that at some point in time, you will not be able to do everything by yourself, even if you are very
Yeah, totally.
intelligent.
Yeah.
So you will need to hire some other people. And that's the experience that Denis is bringing here about this topic. That's the reason of this question. And then for your team, so I imagine that sometimes you get a project that is on a subject that you are not mastering. Nobody in your team. So what is but you know you can do it, but you don't have yet the knowledge for that. So what is the strategy that you follow in those situations in order to train your team or to acquire the required knowledge that is missing? And I'm not telling about a small part, like, oh, I don't remember this small thing. Okay, so that everybody can do it. Any engineer can do it. But I mean, like another subject you have been always making projects on path planning for arms, but now you need to include the perception in order to grasp things. So you never did that because you were very concentrated on the arms and all the team is about that. So how would you manage this? Are you just hiring somebody that can do it, or are you going to incorporate the knowledge into your company by doing some special training or something like that?
And there are different strategies. It depends on the timeline. You know, sometimes sometimes you would just buy this knowledge basically from another consulting company, and so on. It depends on the domain. Currently, there are for many domains very specialized products where you can already buy a bit more expensive product, which gives you a lot of functionality, especially in industrial use cases and so on. So it depends, but for us, what is also in general quite important in the company that we contribute to open source, and we have a rule that that everybody should spend half a day a week. It doesn't work every week, of course, on open source development, and there is basically also idea on personal development. This can be testing, whatever, but what I always also tell people, just find something you like, something what is interesting, and go full in, you know. And this is quite important. And also, I mean, we are also quite lucky that people we hire, they have also their intrinsic interest into robotics and so on. They also often then develop skills beside their day job, because let's be honest, 8 hours at a job, you don't manage to develop so much. So I think there are different strategies. If it's short timeline, I would buy it. If it's longer timeline, we would then learn it, test it, and so on. I mean, there are great tools in ROS. You build simulation. You can test stuff with the simulation, see how it feels, and then you move on. But until now, it was always that we least always knew a bit or did something into this direction, or we had immediately idea, okay, this problem I can solve like that because we saw this in different domain or something. You know, we had last year one quite it was quite challenging project. We didn't do it at the end, but we did it initial work, basically first phase. But at the end, I don't know what happened. The client, the end client, because sometimes you are the like fifth in the line of clients, didn't order or whatever. But this was quite challenging because it was recognizing very, very challenging object in point clouds. So this would be anyway extremely challenging topic.
Okay, so Dennis, you keep giving us gold drops in there, many. Just summarizing, let me summarize one. And it's about that about acquiring the knowledge. If it is long term, you acquire it into the company. If it's so you make the people, and then if it's short term, then it's faster just to hire somebody. And that leads me to the second gold drop that you say, which is about to other consultancy companies. So that's very interesting because we can connect with what you said at the beginning when you started in ROS Control, and then Picnic hired you. Picnic is another consultancy company, and it was hiring you. So it's what I mean here is that there is a possibility for all the audience there to create a consultancy business and collaborate and have like clients between each other in order to achieve a good business. So there is no like a small space that is occupied, and then there is so we cannot fit now the new people there. I think that's interesting.
No, I can say there is way more things to do than we can all do. If every one of us would work 24 hours a day, it's no, there is no chance to get all the challenges done.
Yes, that you're right. We are getting all the time at the Construct. We are getting all the time people asking us, "Hey, can you do consultancy for us?" And some of them we redirected to you, so you have it there. So great. Then what else? Let me tell about. So you are you are a doctor. You are an engineer in robotics, or an expert. But what skills do you think that are required for a person that wants to create a robotics consultancy business? More about technical skills, more about management, more about sales. What do you think about that?
I would basically put everything into one, to be honest. People skills.
Now you are motivating me, the audience, Denis.
Yeah. Now it's. I mean, technical skills are very important, especially when you are starting. I mean, for me, still are important because that's what our core business is. We are solving hard technical problems, which our clients cannot solve on their own. But from a business perspective, from business leading perspective, is actually people skills, because this helps you to build up a team. This helps you to go well with your clients, and this helps you also to do sales and everything. I would say all the other business related skills are less important at the beginning. More important is really to build up relationships with people in every domain.
I see, yes. Okay, so in this conference, we are concentrating more on the technical skills, but in case that somebody in the audience is thinking about creating a consultancy business, then have in mind also to equip yourself with those skills that Denis mentioned.
I mean, you're not doing a business building conference, so I think this is fine that you focus just on technical skills, and this is very important.
Yes.
Yeah.
That is right. And then, but one question important about building a business is about getting some funding. So how did you start your business? Did you have some saved money? Did you get an investment from an investor? I'm talking not about a startup. Okay, so this is not a startup business. It's a consultancy business, which is different. We are going to deal with the startup later with Víctor Mayoral. But in this business, so how did you manage the initial funding or money that you need to launch your business?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't even need it so concretely, because as I finished my PhD, I had already my first client.
Oh, okay.
I can say the company was basically was profitable from day -10.
Wow.
Before there was a company, there was already a kind of revenue. So yeah, I think this is also why I kind of choose consulting business, but it's also because I like solve the problems, and for me personally, is doing startup, doing your own product with very high risk. It's not my thing so much. I mean, that doesn't mean that we will not have some products, like I always call them byproducts, which just came out from our consultancy, because you're always confronted with the same problems.
Yes.
With clients. But in general, for me was always this interesting, and basically, if you have 2 months salaries or something like that, or not salaries, 2 months what you need for your cost of living, you can basically start, because you should be, if you have a good technical knowledge, you should be able within 2 months find first clients and basically launch.
Excellent. Yeah, so that's one of the advantages of having a consultancy business of your own, is another one, that you don't need that much. Actually, even you can be jumping from another job, right? So you are looking for something else, and then when you get it, then you can use it to jump from your current job into your consultancy business, and you get bootstrapped. Excellent.
Exactly.
Excellent. So, Denis, we have so many more questions here, but we are reaching the end of the time. Then I think that we can close here and leave some time for the questions for the audience. Thank you very much, Denis.
Yeah, of course. Thank you also.
And for all the audience, it's now your turn to ask the questions to Denis. So you can see that there is a question and answers tab on this side of the chat. So write your questions there or vote for the questions that are already written there, and then the most voted ones I will be asking to Denis directly. And then let me see. So here we have a lot of questions. Okay, Denis. So let's go one by one, and then let's see. So I don't even have. But let me ask you one question because I had it prepared just in case that nobody had a question there. What is your favorite robot movie?
Oh, I'm not so much somehow into robot movies.
Oh, okay.
But I don't know. Nah, I don't know.
Okay, no problem.
No,
I have a second one.
I mean, Terminator probably because it's like from my childhood and it was like the top movies back then in 90s. So yeah.
Okay, then
Arnold Schwarzenegger, Terminator 2, the legend one.
Okay, excellent. Yes, those are excellent. Also love it. Then let me ask you one question here, the most voted one by Kasuadana, that says, how do you get started with contributing to robotics open source repo? So how do you, I think that his question is that, okay, I see the repos there, but what do I do? So should I contact somebody? Should I just fork the project, solve it, and do a pull request? Can you give an advice on this?
Yeah, so usually you have issues there. You go to the issues, you pick one, and try to figure out solution for it.
Okay,
and
you got
the best is you don't have to say I will work on this issue, because I know many people who said they will work on issue and never worked. Just do it. That's a recommendation. Doing is much more than talking. Yeah.
But then you do it, and what do? You do a pull request.
And then you do pull request, and then you then you wait for the feedback or ask for the feedback, and basically at some point, hopefully this will get merged. And just be open, because to be honest, some feedbacks are hard. I also got a lot of months of my work at the beginning burned, which was thrown away kind of, because didn't got merged. But now I see it was just too complex things, or it was not in a way how it's meant in the library. So just take time to learn, and learn from feedback. You will learn extremely a lot.
Okay, excellent. Then let me ask you another question. So from Marushi Kota says, what do you think are the basic skills to a roboticist should know apart from ROS?
I mean, general robotics understanding, it's very important, because ROS is software library at the end, how you solve robotic problems. But general robotics understanding, kinematics understanding, mobile robots understanding, and so on. Physics, math. Yeah.
Okay, great. Then another one from Rodrigo, who he's here on my side, but he's very well voted. So he says, as a robotics developer, I'm assuming that you use Linux. What are the best Linux tools, in your opinion, to boost productivity in
That's
robotics
very hard to
development?
say. I don't know.
Any that you use, for example? Sorry.
Yeah, I'm not using regular tools. I mean, many of my colleagues use Visual Studio Code, for example. It's very good for development. I cannot use it. I cannot use it. I tried a few times. It's just too much trying to help me, to be honest.
So what do you use?
But yeah.
What do you use instead
So
of?
I use kdevelop, but to be honest, I don't care. I can program ROS in any text editor, and this is the most flexible for me. I was doing this for more than 10 years, so it's kind of,
Second nature.
Of course, it can boost, but with experience, the tools become less important. It's understanding is important,
Yes, I've seen the.
I mean, ChatGPT, of course, is great tool for starting. Definitely, I recommend it full-heartedly. I use it too little, to be honest. Yeah.
Excellent. Okay, so Yeah, so here I have one question related to the your background, because so the first one is from the audience, okay, from Josh, that says, what is the author's name of the book Robotics Behind You?
Yeah, this is the classics, robotics classic. It's the Springer Handbook of Robotics. It's from Khatib, Siciliano and Khatib. I mean, this is the Bible of robotics.
Sama Khatib and Bruno Siciliano.
Yeah, exactly. This comes every few years comes the new version of there. It's like very thick, like really thick.
Oh, yes, yes. Okay, so that's something that you must have in your desk.
I mean, it comes handy, especially when you go into some special problems. You have a lot of areas of robotics there just to get ideas and understanding. Yeah, it's good to have.
Excellent.
It's not that I read everything. I just go to pages which are important for me at the moment.
Yeah, and then another thing is about this plaque that you have there that says ROS Award. What is that? Yes.
Yeah, we got last year, I think. Last year we got the software of the year.
The best ROS software of the
best
year.
ROS software award. Sorry, yeah, exactly. ROS to Control got it.
And you are the main developer together with Benthe, right?
Yeah, I'm together with Benz, the maintainer, and he said, okay, we can put it here because he won the best presentation, I think.
Yeah,
award,
the best speaker.
Okay. Best speaker,
as a speaker, yes, of the conference also. Okay, great. Then I think that now it's time to finish, and then to thank again Denis for his contribution. Thank you very much, Denis.
Thank you also for coming. Nice talking to you, and see you at ROSCON.
See you at the ROSCON.
Yeah,
see you at the ROSCON. Bye-bye.
Yes, thank you, Denis. Very, very nice presentation. So now, dear attendees, please, now you should see a small box in the chat where you can actually rate the speaker. So please take a moment, everyone, to rate Denis, because at the end of the conference, we're going to be picking the best speaker of this year's conference. So please take a moment to rate Denis.
Yes, it's still appearing. It still hasn't appeared. Just a second, because we have it's a rating box. So this box is going to appear after each intervention here, so you can rate the people based on your likes, and at the end we'll get decided the person that is the best here.
Great. So before the next speaker hits the stage, let's have some fun.
What do you mean?
So we're going to do a quiz prize right now. So the winner can get a super swag box with a I'm a robotic developer t-shirt, coffee mug, and stickers. So how does it work? We're going to watch a 5-minute video about how teachers can easily create the ROS project to students. So at the end of the video, you will see a question related to the product. And the first person who answers correctly in the chat will win this swag box. So you may need to go to the page of the sponsor to get to the answer. And now let's see the video, and the next speaker will be back in 5 minutes.
See you soon.